Good morning. How are you guys? Oh, wait, I need to talk through here, right? Sorry, it's been a long time since I've gotten on this podium. Um, so, welcome to Adelup. We are going to announce the Queen candidates. I am so excited. And also, this is just the beginning of our many events that we are going to be doing to celebrate the 75th years of liberation since the Japanese occupation. And of course, our theme is peace and friendship. And we have been really meeting under the leadership of Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio. He's been spearheading the planning, organizing, and has a lot of exciting events, a lot of celebration, celebrating um, our heroes, celebrating our survivors, celebrating again the evolution from 1944 to present. So thank you for coming. I also wanted to just say that the Liberation Day contest didn't really start until 1948. And a very renowned educator, Mrs. Agata Johnson, was the one that convinced the military leaders to, to honor our people by doing the Liberation Day parade and festivities. So it's been really a long, long journey, and just wanted to let you know that the first queen was crowned in 1948, and her name is Beatrice Blas Calvo Paris. Actually, she was my auntie. She was my mom's first cousin, and my mom was part of the coronation team and part of the court. Um, and at that time, I remember this, it's been just everybody comes and celebrated. They buy tickets, and she was one, of course, of the many candidates at that time that won the contest by selling the most tickets, and that's how we honor and that's how we identify and select the Queen, Liberation Day Queen. And then those monies proceeds go back to the mayors and the community in ways of a nonprofit organization. And so the Mayor Melissa Savares, is really the woman that is heading the Liberation Day, Liberation Queen Committee. And we have, I understand, eight, and she'll talk more about it. But I just wanted to briefly say what some of the events are that we're looking at. Of course, our Liberation Day festivity starts with the Micronesian Island Fairs, which is going to be next weekend, right here at the Hagåtña, not the Paseo, but the España, right across the museum, and of course next to the church. I think that's the first time we're having it here in Hagåtña, which is, I think, a different change of venue, but I think it's going to be very successful. You know, people can come, they can go to the museum, they can go into the church and pray for our survivors, pray for our people. They can go to the Chamorro village. There's a lot of things happening also in addition to the fairs, exhibits. We're also going to have a car show, Guam Electric Island Festival, Resorts World Manila concert is happening. Wow, lots of concerts here. Homegrown Bands concert. We are going to also be featuring a headliner. Pia Mia is going to be here. I understand she wants to be a princess, and I think she's going to have her own float. And of course, we'll also be celebrating with our LGBT group, and we are going to be participating in the Guam Pride Parade. So lots of really fun things to do to celebrate our peace and friendship. So I'll hand it over to the mayor, and she can introduce these lovely women that are going to compete with each other, and hopefully, I know we'll have fun along the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor. I'd like to recognize Mayor Jessie Gokwe who is here with us today. I'd like to invite all the candidates, our beautiful ladies. We have 6 of the 8 young ladies who are vying for the title of Queen, Liberation Queen. Come on and stand up. And I will turn the mic over to them, and they will introduce themselves, introduce the village that is sponsoring them, or the agency. We're very pleased today to have 2 Government of Guam agencies, Department of Public Works, as well as the Port Authority of Guam, represented by their candidates. So I'll start with Caitlin on my right, your right, my left, my right, your left. Caitlin.
Good day, everyone. My name is Caitlin Michelle Okonkwi, and I'm sponsored by the village of Talanpabo, Odayo.
Good day, everybody. My name is Victoria Leon Botello, and I am sponsored by the Port Authority of Guam.
Good day, everyone. My name is Audrey Santos. I'm 18 years old, and I represent MCN. Good day, my name is Litea Cape, and I'm sponsored by the Tumani Mayor's Office. Good day, my name is Tiana Salonga, and I'm sponsored by Acid Maina. Today, my name is Regina Dueñez. I'm sponsored by Senator Mayor's Office.
And then we have Ruben Mendiola, who's sponsored by the PD Mayor's Office, who's not with us today, and Maya J. Regis, sponsored by the Department of Public Works Employees Association. I would like to ask our community to support these women. They are selling raffle tickets to also benefit the projects of the First Gentleman. So 50% of their sales will go back to their sponsors to help in their communities or their agencies. The other 50% will go back to the be split between the First Gentleman's projects that he has for the communities, as well as the Mayor's Council to help our communities in need. Okay, so please, ticket sales are ongoing. These young ladies have been having fundraisings. They've been selling their tickets in this room this morning, so they're very aggressive. And then the final counting was actually scheduled for June 4th. But because there's so many people that want to buy tickets, we've extended it to June 11th. So please support their fundraisings, support the efforts of the First Gentleman, and support the efforts of the community. Their money will also help defray some costs and expenses of Liberation, our 75th Liberation celebration. So thank you very much for your presence here today and for helping us promote the beauty of our ladies. They also represent our island, the beauty of our island, as you see, very beautiful ladies here, and the support of our war survivors. They will be attending all the memorials and attending the different events that we have planned for the Liberation festivities. Does anyone have any questions for the ladies?
What types of fundraising do you have?
Okay, go ahead.
So I recently just had a bar fundraiser, and I also have another one on June 1st. I will announce information, but for now, yeah.
We actually have an old-fashioned bingo fundraiser happening on June 2nd. It's a Sunday down at the Talanpabo Odayo Community Center.
So I'm having a fundraiser this Saturday at Shady Lady at 7 o'clock. We have a bar fundraiser on the 31st here at Las Vegas, not too far from here. Hope you guys can stop by on your way. I have an upcoming fundraiser on May 31st at Skyline at 6:30. If you guys want to come out and support. I don't know when I'm doing fundraising. We just finished one, that's why. So we still need to plan for another one.
So qualifications to be a candidate, they must have been 18 by July 21st and not older than 25. So they're in a really good age group. As a matter of fact, they're very, like I keep repeating, they're very beautiful. So who won't support beautiful women from Guam? Of course, they represent well their communities. They're active members. Many of them are still in school, attending the university. Some are working. And so, you know, they're qualified, they're good members of our community, and that's why they were chosen by their sponsors. The ticket is $1 each. Each booklet has 6 tickets, so a booklet would cost $5. And the grand prize is $10,000, one winner. So you want to be that one $10,000 winner. So please support our ladies and the cause of our liberation festivities. So these are the tickets. And before you leave, each girl would be at the door. I hope you brought your $5 for each booklet to support their causes for their sponsors, as well as to support the liberation expenses. And celebrating the 75th liberation is something very special. We do not have very many survivors with us. And the survivors will have a tent at the parade next to the reviewing stand for those that can join us on that particular day. All right. Any other questions? I'll go ahead and turn it over to John Calvo, who will speak to about the parade.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I guess the ladies can stand in front if they want. Still nervous? Okay, so today we're also announcing the open applications for our parade float entries. And in the past, we've had 3 categories. So this year, we're going to narrow it down to 2, which is going to be the marching unit bands, and then, of course, the actual parade float entries. What we did this year as part of the planning, the steering committee is we've implemented or are planning for a car show. So some of the extensive floats where we've seen different model cars from our various automobile dealerships, we hope that they would be displayed over at the car show as opposed to the parade entries, so that we can focus on the parade floats that are going to be featured. And so today what we're doing is we're asking all of our GovGuam agencies, our businesses, our nonprofit organizations, no matter how big or small your organization is to come out and participate in this 75th Liberation by registering for a float entry. And the steering committee is organizing the prizes that are going to be associated with each of the categories for the parade floats. And so we hope that by announcing this today, as opposed to later on, is that we're going to encourage you and inspire you to get involved with Liberation 75 and to get your parade float entries in. So some of the details that the public might be interested in regarding the time of the parade is that we will be allowing the parade setup to happen on Saturday afternoon, which is the day before the 21st, so on July 20th, the parade routes will be closed off. As part of the roads will be closed so that campgoers can set up their tents, which will be issued, permits will be issued by the Department of Parks and Recreation. And then of course on Sunday, July 21st, the day of the parade, we are going to be allowing the campers to stay all the way up until 12 midnight. So they would have the opportunity to remain for the firework display that evening. And since everything is centrally located in Hagåtña, we hope that we would use this opportunity to really spend some time with all of us who will be participating, but also making our way throughout the entire capital city to take advantage of the rich history and culture that is there. So we're again encouraging everybody, together with Governor Lulian Guerrero and Lieutenant Governor Tenorio, to get everybody involved in having a parade float to really make this a memorable occasion for everyone. So. So the theme for the entire Liberation 75 is celebrating a legacy of peace and friendship, which really ties in the history of how the United States and during post-Japan occupation, we've been able to create this vibrant community where peace and friendship really coexist, because of our culture, because of the rich history of our people. And really highlighting the many experiences that our war survivors have gone through, decades of experiencing atrocity and being able to, 75 years later, recognize that we are able to coexist in a community such as ours. Yeah, for the float, just a minute. Okay. So for the float prizes, there's going to be different categories, but for first place, it'll be $1,000, and then second place would be $750, and third place would be $500 for each of the categories. And the categories are basically our GovGuam agencies, nonprofits, and village floats. And one of the things that we're highlighting is also encouraging the use of, recycled material in developing our floats. Any other questions, or when will the Queen be announced? So final counting will be on June 11th, and so we'll do a press conference and a press release around that time when the final counting is done. And also we're encouraging everyone, including the legislature, to participate, and we appreciate the leadership and participation of the speaker, Tina Munya Barnes, who has been a tremendous help in with the Lieutenant Governor in co-chairing this. Okay, so the drawing will be held on Monday, July 22nd, 2019 at 6 p.m. And I'm almost confident that it's going to be on the Carnival grounds. So, it is at the Carnival grounds, at the main stage. Sure. No, you don't have to be present to win. Yeah. But maybe if you're going to win, you have to be present. Okay. Any other questions or anything? Sure.
I just wanted to put into perspective this whole Liberation festivities, and that is, if you can think back 75 years, and if you know parents or grandparents that have shared their stories about their 3 years of under Japanese occupation and the fear for their lives, the fear of they don't know when their next meal is going to be, fear of losing their homes, and fear of a lot of atrocities and tragedies of war. And then think back in place of your parents or your grandparents about what that feeling would have been when you see the U.S. Marines and Army and Navy coming to Guam to liberate our people. That is such I think it's an emotional feeling that cannot be said in just one word. But if you can imagine the happiness, the wonderful feeling our parents or grandparents had, knowing now that they are liberated or free from the bad things of war. And I always said war is never a good thing. And just also know that Guam is the only U.S. soil that was invaded by a foreign country. And those are some of the historical legacies that we need to reflect on and connect it with what these festivities are about. It's to help share and memorialize the feelings of freedom, of safety, of being peaceful again and harmonious in our such beautiful paradise of Guam. So I just want to make sure we put it into perspective, and that's why I think Every year, our whole community comes out to celebrate July 21st, as that's when we had the military come and liberate our people and save and protect our freedom and peace. So sometimes we kind of tend to forget what it is all about because of all the festivities. But if we just take a moment to reflect while we're even there in celebrating liberation, it just is much more meaningful and very significant and gives us great reason to celebrate. We celebrate our freedom and peace. So I just wanted to put that into perspective. Thank you.
Before we conclude, I would just want to recognize the Queens Committee. We have Adrian Diaz, Anne Marie Arceo, and represented by Jackie Balbas today. And we have members of our Liberation Committee that are here today as well. So I'd like to thank all of you for coming today and look forward to you buying tickets on your way out. Thank you.